guys, Andy here. Welcome back to the channel. So good to see you guys again. And today we are on our tutorial number 2 in regards of how to use a Forza 60 and Nanlite power tubes to light a scene. And today we are lighting a podcast scene. So we're at this very special set doing our tutorial. I have my mate Ben here with me.
Hey.
Yep. He's a videographer that specializes in doing documentaries and interviews. So today I just want him to sit here and then have a very quick, brief conversation while I pick his brains on how do you light a podcast scene.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So, what do you think about this scene today?
Yeah, I think it's lovely, man. I think we've got some lovely soft light on our faces. We've got some lovely lights in the back. We got everything's nice and controlled, and it suits your style as well. So
Yeah, it took us like an hour to decide how do we really want to set up the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we got there.
we got there. Yep. So without further ado, right? Let's go on to how do we light up a podcast scene. So tip number 1.
So tip number 1 that we've come up with is to kind of choose the right environment for your podcast scene. So that comes down to a few different things, like picking something that matches your brand, and the style or the theme of your podcast, and then choosing whether you want it to be kind of a light theme or a dark theme. So for us, we've closed over the curtains, and that gives us absolute control over the light. So it means that if something changes outside, like the sun, or the clouds or whatever is happening outside, if that changes, our light doesn't change in here. So we've got complete control, and control is a big help when you're doing any sort of videography or filmmaking.
I totally agree on that, because on many times when we are doing like especially interview scene, or even we are trying to record podcasts for other people, there are times where you have a nice cloudy weather, but then the sun just peeks in and out, so it becomes very inconsistent. And if you are trying to do any hard cuts on the conversation to make it like better and all that, this light discrepancy would kind of ruin the viewing experience for your audience, unless you are doing like a uncut version of a podcast or any interview whatsoever that's like going on. Like you just record the whole thing. So if you say something wrong, just let it be inside the cut and all that. Then that'll be fine, I guess, because the light just transitions over the time and you won't really realize it. But if you have hard cuts in the scene and all that, so it's always better to have a control light setting. Yep.
For me though, I still prefer to control, even if the light is changing. That kind of annoys me. It probably annoys you as well.
It does. That's why this studio is created. Yeah.
yeah. It's just better to control everything. So the lights that you turn on are the lights that you're seeing, and nothing else.
Tip number 2, the type of lights that we use. So as you can see on the title already, it's a Forza 60, and it gives out a 5600 daylight temperature. So it's just nice enough to light up our face. But the difference is I'm using a lantern diffuser instead of a dome diffuser. We all know that dome diffusers are pretty popular. Like you see it on Maddie and Pete's like podcast. You see it on other people's podcasts where they use a giant dome to just light off their face. I think like Colin and Samuel, they have like 3 lights, 3 big dome lights that lights in. I mean, that works. Yeah, they got a space for it. If you don't realize it, right, this is actually a very small space, and that's why I picked like Forza 60 and also the lantern instead of the dome.
For me, I think domes, like you said, are really useful, especially for interviews when you're kind of lighting one subject, because you can get that kind of Rembrandt lighting, one side of their face brighter than the other and stuff. But as anyone who's tried to light more than one person in an interview or knows, it can be quite difficult to have the same kind of light on both their faces. And that's where a lantern is great, because you can kind of like pop it up between the 2 subjects, or even 3, or maybe even 4. And then you just get a more even light on both. You get a very similar light on both subjects.
Yeah, this is very good, especially you're running on a budget. Like, I don't have money to buy tons of lights. So I want one light that can do multiple tasks. And
Great
that's
point.
where you choose the right diffuser mount. So a lantern is definitely good. Like if you see on my previous video, I'm using a lantern to do product photography. It's actually pretty amazing. Like the last thing you want to do is have a dome and then try to swivel it around to get the right angle, because the lantern just disperse the light evenly and the falls off is just nice. Like our face right now, I pretty much look good on the camera. Yeah, so I really like it. And yeah, so having the right diffuser is very important when you do a podcast scene. Of course, like if you have a larger space, a taller ceiling and all that, by all means get the 300B and then like the 120 centimeter dome or the 90 centimeter dome that I have. Like we try using it in this space.
For the
Yeah,
space
it's just
stuff.
not suitable for
Yeah.
this whole setting and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the I think like you said, a small light and a small dome, perfect for a small room, and when you're on a budget, because if you can't afford two or three lights, you want the one light that you do have to kind of do everything. And if you get a lantern, you can act as a lantern like this, or it comes with bar and doors, so you can kind of turn it into a dome as well. So you're getting the best of both worlds.
So moving to the last tip.
Yes.
So what would be the last tip?
So the last tip would be also very, very important, but it's kind of like the cherry on top, which is accent lights. So accent lights would be anything else in your scene that you can actually kind of see in the scene that's a different light, that's not your main light. So it could be a lamp, or it could be an LED on the wall, or it could be the pavo tubes that nanolight do. Just any other light that's in your scene.
I like power tips especially because it's RGB and you can control. There's also like the color temperature control, so you can use daylight and also tungsten, and then you have like the 360 degrees of like the hue circle for you to go around with it. So you can actually tweak it to any color that you like. It really helps you to build up a nice scene, and especially I feel like accent light is something that's very important that people overlook. Sometimes it's just, I just need a key light, and then in the far background, there's nothing. I mean, if you're going for the minimal style and all that, yes, but you still see some people would add like some nice neon light. Like for me, I always have that neon lightning at the back. So these are accent light as
I think
well.
it's so nice. I think just a small light, it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be anything really bright, just something in the background adds like a lovely depth to your
Yeah,
over to your
especially if
final
you have a
image.
shelf like that,
Yeah.
sliding a power tube at the back, perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I guess we cover up like 3 tips. First, find the right space, have control lighting. Second of all, use the right diffuser. In this case, the lantern. And third, add accent lighting. If you can, use the power tubes. It's one of the best accent light like tool that I have. Like I use it for sets, I use it for podcasts, I use it for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's very diverse.
It's very diverse. So yeah, thank you so much, Ben, for coming on to have this like very quick and simple conversation.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good
Yeah.
tips.
Shout out again to Nanlight as well for supporting me, because without them supporting this, we wouldn't come up with this nice cool tutorial series. So thank you again, Nanlight, for doing this. And also, I hope you guys like the video. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And we still have one more tutorial session to go with Nanlight. So I look forward to see you guys there. Quick hint, it's about outdoor portrait photography. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So till then, I'm gonna see you guys. Peace out.